For thousands of years, men have perpetuated the stereotype they are smarter than women. As a result, they've not always taken women seriously, which has led to the demoralization and oppression of the female gender. Men have not always listened to women in the home, and therefore not made the most out of their personal relationships. In business, they've often hired unqualified men over qualified women because they presumed the men were smarter. Both their productivity and bottom line suffered as a result of their misogyny. They've kept ladies from establishing laws and policies in most political systems, which consequently created biased cultures that favored men, and incited revolutions amongst half the population in the world who had to fight for their rights, to be treated as equals. Instead of working with women, men have long since worked against them, which has split the human race in two, and weakened our species as a whole. Now we know neither sex is smarter than the other. Numerous tests have been administered to thousands of men and women all over the world, more than I will cite here. Most studies show general intelligence is the same in both genders. Men may score a few points higher on some tests, while women may perform a little better on others, but no significant difference has been found between the two. Some tests claim men rank on the highest and lowest ends of the intelligence scale, while women consistently score in the middle, once again showing neither sex can be proven smarter than the other. While it's true men have larger brains on average, that's attributed to the fact that the male body is generally larger overall. Women have more cortical folds in their brain than men, which allows the same amount of neurons to be squeezed into a smaller space. So once more, neither gender packs more brain power. Of course, there are intellectual differences between the genders. Men often show a higher aptitude for spatial relations, and women tend to possess greater language skills. But neither advantage actually makes one gender smarter than the other. Just like one person who can play 5 musical instruments cannot be considered more intelligent than a person who can take a machine apart and put it back together again. Intellectual apples and oranges cannot be compared. We should also keep in mind their respective aptitudes are based on generalities. Not every male has strong spatial relation skills, and not all females excel in language arts. There are exceptions to every rule, because each brain is unique. Obviously, I'm one of those exceptions, since my work is communicated to the world through verbal and written language, not through spatial relation skills. The stereotype that men exceed women in mathematics has also turned out to be a myth. Women get the same grades as men when they take the same math courses, even though cultural influences have often steered women away from math and driven men into the subject. We must also remember there are many types of intelligence that are not always tested. Musical and athletic intelligence are not measured on most IQ tests. Artistic creativity and intuition are not included on standard intelligence tests either. That means general intelligence scores don't represent the sum total of our intellectual prowess. Even when a man scores higher on certain intelligence tests, it only proves he's smarter in the intellectual areas featured in the test. That does not mean he's smarter in all real-world contexts than women. A man may score higher than a woman on every math test, but she may be significantly more street smart and therefore can navigate through the world better than him. So who can say which of them is actually smarter? They would both be equally clever in different situations. There's also a difference between having raw intelligence and knowing how to use it. A boy might be a genius, but he still relies on the wisdom of his mother to guide his intelligence in the right direction, because he's intellectually immature and does not yet know how to use his smarts. A man with a big brain and a bad attitude may not prove as productive as a woman who uses her average intellect more constructively because she has a positive outlook and she's driven by the will to succeed. So even if a man ranks higher on every intelligent quotient test administered to him, that doesn't mean he would perform as well as his wife on the exam of life. Once again, there's no reason to believe men are smarter than women. I want our society to take this information to heart. Men must start accepting women as their intellectual equals and listening to ladies. Women constitute half the population, and they have ideas that should be heard because they are just as smart as men. Ignoring that many female voices is, and always has been, foolish. After all, ideas should be judged according to their own merit, not by the genitalia of the person presenting them. Women are just as likely to think up plans that will prevent wars, improve the economy, save us from social collapse, cure diseases, protect us from climate change, etc., as men are. We cannot afford to silence women because of some antiquated sexist perception that they are somehow less thoughtful than guys. Men and women must work together in mutual respect of each other's intellects in order to strengthen our society. If you're interested in learning more about intelligence tests administered to men and women, a simple internet search will reveal many different studies that have been performed on the subject, and research data from experts such as James Flynn and Adrian Furnham. You can see for yourself that male and female intellects are generally considered equal even when different. Accepting this truth can bring men and women closer together, and improve our chances of enjoying peace, harmony, and prosperity within our society. This is Ryan CRC for the Holistic Relationship Center. Please subscribe and follow me on all my social media for the latest insights into our romantic and social relationships. Until next time, remember, the truth heals.